The Age of the Pharaohs marks the period when Egypt became a unified kingdom under divine kingship, where rulers were not only political leaders, but also seen as intermediaries between the gods and the people, responsible for maintaining cosmic order and ensuring the stability of the land and the annual Nile floods. Central to this system was the concept of Mad, the principle of balance, truth, and harmony, which pharaohs were expected to uphold through justice, temple building, offerings to the gods, and the protection of Egypt from internal chaos and foreign threats. The early dynastic period established the visual language of power, including crowns, royal regalia, ceremonial palettes, and monumental architecture, which communicated authority and continuity across generations and reinforced the sacred nature of kingship in public and religious life. Memphis emerged as one of the earliest political and administrative capitals, strategically located near the Nile Delta, allowing rulers to control agricultural production, trade routes, and communication between Upper and Lower Egypt. The Old Kingdom is often called the Age of the Pyramids, when pharaohs such as Djoser, Sneferu, Khufu, Kaffa, and Menkaure commissioned massive stone monuments that required advanced planning, skilled labor, and a centralized bureaucracy capable of organizing thousands of workers. These pyramids were not built by slaves, but by seasonal laborers, craftsmen, engineers, and administrators who worked in rotating crews, supported by state rations, housing, and medical care in planned worker settlements near construction sites. The step pyramid of Djoser, designed by the architect Imhotep, represents a major architectural innovation, transforming earlier mastaba tombs into a multi-tiered stone complex that symbolized royal power and the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Pyramid construction required quarrying stone from distant sites, transporting blocks along the Nile, and developing precise surveying techniques, demonstrating the Egyptians' mastery of mathematics, engineering, and logistics. Alongside monumental building, the Old Kingdom developed a sophisticated administrative system, with scribes recording taxes, labor assignments, and grain storage, ensuring the redistribution of resources throughout the kingdom. Temples function not only as religious centers, but also as economic institutions, owning land, employing workers, and acting as hubs for craft production, education, and ritual activity that connected the state to the divine realm. After periods of decentralization during the First Intermediate Period, the Middle Kingdom restored centralized authority, reformed provincial governance, and expanded irrigation projects to increase agricultural productivity and stabilize the economy. Literature from the Middle Kingdom reflects a deeper concern with ethics, social justice, and the responsibilities of rulers, indicating a more introspective political culture and a broader participation of elites in administration. The New Kingdom marked the height of Egyptian imperial power, with pharaohs such as Hatshepsut, Thutmose III, Amenhotep III, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, Seti I, and Ramesses II projecting influence beyond Egypt's borders. Military campaigns into Nubia and the Levant brought wealth, tribute, and captives, while fortified garrisons and diplomatic marriages helped maintain a network of allied states and trade relationships across the Near East. Hatshepsut's reign demonstrates that royal power could be expressed through trade and monumental construction, as well as warfare, particularly her famous expedition to Punt, which brought exotic goods and reinforced Egypt's economic reach. Akhenaten introduced a radical religious reform centered on the worship of the Aten, temporarily disrupting traditional priesthoods and artistic conventions, before the restoration of older cults under his successors. Temples such as Karnak and Luxor expanded into vast ceremonial complexes, with pylons, obelisks, and hypostyle halls designed to host festivals that reaffirmed the relationship between the gods, the pharaoh, and the people. Art and reliefs followed strict conventions that emphasized order, hierarchy, and timelessness, portraying rulers as larger than other figures and using symbolic colors and poses to communicate theological and political meanings. Tombs in the Valley of the Kings replaced pyramids for New Kingdom rulers, reflecting changes in funerary practices and increasing concern with protecting royal burials from looting. Daily life during the Pharaonic Age involved farmers, artisans, merchants, priests, and officials whose work sustained the economy and temple system, showing that the grandeur of monuments depended on complex social cooperation. Women in Egypt could own property, initiate legal contracts, and in some cases rule as pharaoh, indicating a social structure that granted certain legal rights not always present in other ancient societies. Trade expeditions brought timber from Lebanon, gold from Nubia, incense from Punt, and luxury goods from across the Mediterranean, linking Egypt to a wider network of cultural and economic exchange. Scientific and medical knowledge developed in temple and court schools, producing texts on surgery, pharmacology, mathematics, and astronomy that supported construction, agriculture, and ritual calendars. Periods of decline, including the Late Bronze Age disruptions, weakened central authority and opened the way for foreign influence, yet many religious, artistic, and administrative traditions continued, preserving cultural identity. The age of the pharaohs left a legacy of monumental architecture, religious thought, administrative practice, an artistic expression that shaped later civilizations and continues to define global perceptions of ancient Egypt today.